You're here to see the top 3 habits that get you into ketosis faster. If that's what you're looking for, stay tuned. Okay guys, so we want to understand about ketosis and how to get in there quickly. So we have habits that you can do that are going to get you there quickly and then continue to get you, into full ketosis, as well as then obviously if you want to continue to burn a humongous amount of fat. So these are really there for you to get into ketosis quickly, but the main idea against it is the sense is that you don't really want to continuously do some of them because you obviously want to drop a lot of weight over a small period of time. You do not want to have it over a large period of time, and then some of them will be more conducive in certain situations. So don't forget, for anything where you have an issue or you're going to do a big dietary change, always consult your GP or your family doctor. Okay guys, so let's have a look at the main issue. So here you can see, get into ketosis, simple and effective. So this is the big issue. So when you need to get up to your ketosis, you need to make sure you can remove glycogen from your body. So you first need to use up the glucose in your blood, and then you need to then use up the glycogen as well. Now glycogen, as you can see here, is stored in the liver and the muscles. But you have to understand that in the muscles it's over 24 hours supply. That's an estimate, obviously, approximately, and approximately 36 hours for the muscles. Now, so when we come to it, we need to use up the blood glucose first, then burn through glycogen, your body's stored glucose fuel, liver up to 24 hours, muscles up to 36 hours. As glycogen falls, ketone production can then begin. So as glycogen falls, ketone production can begin, and that's the main target. Now, that's the biggest thing that you want to say, hey, that's my challenge. So when you're doing it, you think, burn up all my glucose, burn up all my glycogen, I'm in ketosis, continue for a little while, I'm in full ketosis. If you want to continue on, I would definitely consult the GP or family doctor, because again, especially if you have conditions, that's a must. And when you come down to have a look at it, you have to understand that burning a phenomenal amount of weight is good if you've got a lot of weight on you, but you want to make sure that you get a lot off, but then you have a conducive long pathway. So that way you don't, burn off so much weight that it causes issues. Especially if your body gets too concerned, it will flag up and say, hey, we need to make sure we hold down the fat burning. Now, the big idea behind that is, hey, just be able to do some of these to get into ketosis quickly, have it for a short period of time into full ketosis, then go, hey, well, let's go on to a more sustainable, long-term, full of fats, protein diet, and without having to do such things as fasting or doing something which is, too much. Okay, guys, so here we go. Right, so looking at habit number 1. So you can see here, fast to lunch. So fast to lunch is there for a reason. You don't want to do a lot of fasting, and you certainly don't want to do all day fasting. Why is that? You can end up consuming your muscle. So you have to be very careful. It's an unhealthy practice. Yes, again, eating smaller meals, fasting until lunch, these things are more conducive and healthy. They won't usually have the effect of actually causing your body to fear and start to have a continual pathway of breaking down protein in your body. So this is the idea. You only fast. So for example, you go to bed, you wake up, you don't eat until lunch, and then obviously you've had your fast, and that's the conducive way of doing it on a keto diet. Now, let's have a look here. After lower insulin increases fat burning. So after breakfast, insulin spikes up to up to 24 hours. Now, we can see here high insulin signals to your body to store fat. Fat burning is blocked. But if you look here, fast to lunch, low insulin up to lunchtime, low insulin signals your body to release stored fat. Fat burning is on. So the main idea there is, as long as you've obviously got through your glycogen, you will then start obviously to do that, and the fast will initiate burning glycogen massively and quickly, simply because you haven't eaten for that period of time. A massive, fantastic habit if you're going to get into ketosis. So low insulin means fat burning can begin, and fasting until lunch gives me more time to burn fat. So low insulin keeps insulin low for hours after waking. burn stored fat. Your body taps into stored fat for energy. Improve focus and energy, steadier energy and better mental clarity. Support fat loss. Consistent fasting helps you reach your goals. So, how to start? Skip breakfast, drink water, black coffee or tea, eat your first meal at lunch. Simple, sustainable, effective. So that's the first habit there, guys. Understand doing a little bit of fasting will get you into ketosis really quickly and help to burn a lot of fat. Now, okay guys, so here we go. Keto habit number 2, deep carbs, low. So keep carbs low to increase insulin. Very simple and straightforward, guys. When you have low carbs, you're depriving your body of your fuel source or to go to get glucose. And when you do that, you've obviously got your glucose and it's going to then go into your liver as well, and it's going to use the glycogen. So when you do this, you are telling your body, look, no more glucose, use all the glucose in the blood, use up as much glycogen in your muscles and liver, then compensate, start fat burning, and increase as time goes on. Especially as well to make ketone bodies, so you can have ketosis. So what we can see here, high carb state up to 24 hours. High carbs trigger a large insulin release, which stores fat and blocks fat burning. You can see here, guys, that's a normal high carb modern diet. Now over here, keto state, 24 hours to 48 hours. Low carbs keep insulin low, so your body releases stored fat and makes ketones for energy. So very simple and straightforward. Low insulin means I can release stored fat. I'll turn fatty acids into ketones. Okay, that's your liver, and that's how you get into ketosis. But you need to clear your glucose and glycogen first, and there are certain ways that you can do it really quickly. Lower insulin, release stored fat, increase ketone production. So here we go. This is habit number 3. This is the best one, and that's the best one to start off with. So it's increase energy demand. So what is that? Exercise. All you've got to do is increase the amount of activity you do. Now, you don't have to worry if you've got a lot of weight on you. Start off with what makes you tired. And then when you get a little bit out of breath and tired, you've burnt tons of weight, more than that person who was slimmer, who did the same as you. Now, how does that work? You've got a lot of weight on you, so you need more energy to move it. You burn more calories than the slim person. That's as simple as that. And so as you lose weight, you must compensate with more activity over time. Now, let's have a look here. Increase energy demand, strength training and HIIT. So high intensity interval training. Now, the main idea is usually, it depends on your situation. If you're not used to exercise, start off slowly, build it up, and how you're comfortable. Now, if you feel, oh, this is too much, then that's, you've burnt a lot, relax, but do it again the next day. And continue until you extend the time, and then suddenly you're going for your walk, and it's not 30 minutes anymore, it's an hour and 30 minutes, or it's 2 hours, it's 3 hours. So this is the main idea. Now, the more the intensity, or the more the amount of the exercise, the more weight you lose. So you understand as well, if you go and do a lot of aerobic exercise, you're going to be needing a lot of carbs to fuel that energy, and you're going to be able to see, okay, I'm going to get tons of that energy, and I need to then burn that somewhere, and that's going to be fatty acids. You are going to be massively dropping your glycogen, but then also your fatty acids as well. So low intensity movement here. Exercise increases energy demand, helping your body become more efficient at producing ATP, or adenosine triphosphate, from fat and ketones. So low intensity movement, you've got here cardio, you've got zone 2, walking, cycling, easy jogging. Now, speed the energy from stored fat. Uses fat for fuel during exercise, steady sustainable energy, supports fat burning and endurance. So great for building a strong foundation and burning fat efficiently. Now you have strength training and high intensity interval training. So here we go. What happens here? You've got more demand, increases your ATP, your energy molecule of your body, stimulates mitochondrial adaptation, because you have to adapt to different fuel, improves metabolic flexibility, enhances power, strength and performance. So the whole idea creates a powerful creates a powerful afterburn effect, which elevated calories burn and energy demand for up to 24 to 36 hours after training. So this hires your metabolism, and that is how you should always train. Have a burst of energy, and that increases your metabolism, and then you will increase, and it will be up and then slowly come down. So whole idea is that you can do a whole lot of different things here with the different types of training. All of these are conducive, and they give you bursts to quickly remove your glucose, remove your glycogen, and get onto burning fat slowly, then massively improved, and ketosis. So guys, I hope you liked the video. Thumbs up and subscribe. Any questions, please pop them in the comments, and I'll try to answer them, guys, if I have time. Now, I'll see you on the next one.